it live! Here from Ham, a city in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. An important hub for rail transport, renowned for its distinctive station building, which is exactly why we decided to wait here for the D-Bahn to get us to Krefeld. We are still, trying to find our way to the actual Winter Dream that we were told about. But in the meantime, we're going to be casting some more replays from that day, from that group of HomeStory Cup XXII Winter's Dream. I am, of course, your host, Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is El Jungla de Odio, que es conocido por su Tumblr, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
Tumblr? What's up, Yaku? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another HomeStory Cup broadcast. As Yaku was saying, we have been covering the group stage of HomeStory Cup for the past couple of weeks. Of course, the main event was last month in December, so not too long ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. And it was a pretty major event. It was pretty exciting. It was pretty hype, but there were a lot of games that were played, and there were a lot of games from HomeStory Cup that actually were not broadcasted. If I recall correctly, in the round robin group stage, 4 games were being played at a time, and there was only the main stream and the B stream, so they barely covered half the games. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but because of that, you know, it kind of gives us the opportunity to find a couple of these like important games and try and cast them.
Yeah, we're making lemonade out of rocks here.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't call that. We're making lemonade out of lemons, Papi, all right?
That is accurate, yeah.
Shaking my head. Yeah, we've been actually really surprised, and we've been really enjoying so far these replay cuts. We've been able to find a couple of gems here and there, being able to watch Gumiho, being able to watch Cham. There's been a lot of upsets. Specifically, a couple of days ago, Harstem versus Gumiho was insane. It was crazy. So yeah, it's been really cool to catch some of these games that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to see.
Indeed, we are. And speaking of Harstem, and speaking of Cham, we're not done yet with that particular group that we just casted a couple of days ago, but we are going to be continuing them, and I believe concluding them today.
Yes.
Group
Today,
B, at least. I think we still have Group C after this.
Yeah, exactly. We finished casting Group A, we finished casting Group D, and today is the final day for Group B. So we're almost done with all the replay casts, and we should be able to wrap everything up before IEM Katowice and finally finish kind of the backlog of of things that we had to cast. So yeah, there was not much rest for us over the holidays, over Christmas and all that stuff. We're just trying to catch up with everything.
And from then on, we get to look forward to the front log.
Oh, yes. Or
the catalog, if you want to call that.
The new balance patch and the new maps. Something that a lot of people are trying to avoid right now. But, oh my god. Despite that, you know, here we're going to be covering these games. Of course, the previous patch, the previous maps. And, yeah, hopefully we find some good games.
Yeah, it's a little comforting to me.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of that familiarity coming out.
And it was comforting for Asher the other day, mate. He's like, get me out of the new map pool, Papi, get me out. Oh god, but yeah, when you're ready, Yaku, we can jump into our first series.
Yes. How do we count this down?
Just go for it, Papi. Go for it.
In 3, 2, 1, unpause. And speaking of unpause, here we are now in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way. In that top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of the Netherlands, the land of Rotterdam. We have our red Protoss player coming out representing Shopify Rebellion. He is Harstem. And he is Imba.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have his opponent. We have the Mexican Zerg player representing Team GP. It is Cham.
El Campeón.
Sí, papi, sí.
We've sometimes thinking of calling him over in Latin America.
Yeah, like he used to kind of dominate the online tournament scene, especially 2019, 2020, that kind of era of StarCraft pre-COVID, basically. So very early 2020 and 2019. So yeah, it's really cool to see Cham kind of really coming into his stride. We saw him really coming into form during those earlier years, really dominating the online tournaments, and more recently, he is the most recent Latin American champion.
That is true. He did win DreamHack Winter Latin America qualifiers. He was over there at Atlanta, of course, representing the region once again, and honestly, it feels like 2022 has just about been his best year.
Definitely. For those who maybe didn't catch the regionals for DreamHack Winter, Cham, of course, he beats Special. Typically, Special, he kind of walks into DreamHack Latin America and he expects his check. He's like, yeah, give me my money for first place, because he has been first in DreamHack Latin America for years, for so many years, and he was finally dethroned.
Yeah, for the very, very first time by somebody who I think people may not have necessarily suspected. I mean, obviously Cham, he is kind of a favorite in that region. He's always consistently a top 3 player, but I feel like Kellizer has really made it to more finals than him.
Definitely. I mean, we can talk about Diego when we cast him a little bit later next week, but Kellizer as well. I feel like both Kellizer and Cham, they have both been improving a lot in skill this past year, 2022, and it's been really interesting to see almost, I don't want to say the fall of Special, but like the other players kind of finally catching up in terms of skill. Maybe Special resting on his laurels a little bit, one of those things. No king lasts forever. So yeah, it has been really cool to see both Kellizer and Cham. And as you said, Cham kind of jumped from 3rd place to 1st, kind of skipping over Kellizer a little bit in that last DreamHack.
It is funny. I like to think that we do have WTLL to thank for that, for a lot of our players wanting to improve their skill level, but in the meantime, we have a very standard game on our hands.
Yeah,
I was keeping my eyes peeled for anything. Out of the ordinary or anything about to begin, but nope.
Yeah.
Nice and standard.
I mean, we just had a little bit of free time to ourselves to kind of bring everyone up to speed when it comes to Cham. Meanwhile, Harstem as well has been improving a lot recently. Hashtag Year of Harstem is every year. But he's been creating a lot of content on YouTube. He's been casting a lot as well. But that's also kind of given him a new perspective, and he's been able to apply that to the game itself. And because of that, he has been able to really spike up and punch up. A couple of days ago, we were casting the rest of this group, and Harstem, he went 1-1. He had a tied series against both Gumiho and Solar.
Incredibly close series is there. And I like to imagine that if we did have regular best of 3s on our hands, I would like to imagine that he would be able to pull something off and just edge out the victory against at least Gumiho. That series was insane, but maybe Solar as well.
Yeah, exactly. Against both of them, Harstem was really able to prove himself to be able to go toe-to-toe with the best of the best. But before that happens, we do see this game getting underway. Cham, he's making a lot of lings. He has cut workers here at 44. Not necessarily going all in. He has a lair behind this, but with all these lings that are being banked up, his goal here is to break the 3rd, or maybe even try to break into the natural.
Yeah, we're definitely pretty used to this coming out from Cham, but I am not used to seeing a Nidus come out from him.
Oh my god.
Cham, way back in the day, I remember him for his Bane bust, but now he's experimenting.
Exactly. He makes 26 more lings. He hasn't taken any additional gases. He's going for a ling queen all in, and so far this has gone unscattered. The lair was spotted earlier, but only the lair. So far these oracles haven't really been able to get too much of an eye on the drone count at the 3rd base. We do see the lings flooding across the map, and the queens are being loaded up into that Nidus.
Yeah, Harstem sees the lings as well. Looks like it's not in fact going to be a backstab Nidus or Nidus into the main. It is just a reinforcing Nidus coming out from Cham. which is probably the best case scenario for him. He just needs something that can deal with these oracles and to just allow the Lings to do the rest, to handle the rest.
I mean, the Lings, they got a nice round and they basically almost reset the adept count, and here we go. The Queens are on the front lines. We do have a couple of sentries being morphed in. We have 2 cannons on the way at the natural. Harstem knows that he just has to hold the natural. He knows how all in Cham is. Cham, behind this, he threw down a Baneling nest, so he's going to be able to morph in Banelings in a couple of seconds.
Is it too late for a Baneling Nest? Well, perhaps so. He just canceled his Baneling Nest. Well, no, just finished up. His Baneling Nest just finished up, and he is going for a Roach Warren instead. He's not giving up on the Nidus play. He is still opening up another Nidus in the main base.
Yeah.
And there's actually quite a bit that he can get done here. He's going to kill the Twilight Council. He depowers the Forge.
Wow.
There's 1 Void Ray here, but look at how many Lings are doing damage.
Exactly. +1 is going to be denied. The tech is going to be reset as well, and this 1 Void Ray isn't going to be enough to kill every single one of these Queens. Eventually, Harstem is going to be able to force this back, I think, but even if he does, losing the main like this is crucial.
Surrounded! Ugh. It really does. The Archon gets surrounded by the Lings, and you never want to see an Archon go down. Purely to Zerglings, there's another Archon right outside the natural base that I feel really sad about. Just trying to get back into the main to defend, but it can't. This main base has been completely forfeit.
Exactly, and again, even though Harstem is ahead economically, you look at the worker count, you know, he is up 10 probes right now. But the tech being reset is massive, the production as well. Harstem, he doesn't really have the capacity to go for a counterattack. Cham is free to drone if he wants to.
Exactly. Well, Harstem may have the lead in the workers right now. Cham has the base lead. He is getting a 4th on top of this, and he's just denying any potential 3rd base right now that Harstem could really go for.
Yeah, exactly.
Harstem is ahead economically, but for how long?
Yeah, I mean, Harstem, he's going for a massive counterattack. I say massive, a handful of Zealots, an Archon, and 3 of these Adepts, but there is nothing at home. The Lings are coming back home due to this Nidus. We do have a couple of Banelings on the way as well, and I don't think this counterattack is going to do much of anything.
Yeah, I like the position that Harstem found that Archon and those Stalkers in, but he just could not fight the math. GG. Cham takes game number 1 with some very cheeky Nidus play. Why does this always happen to Harstem? Like, not Nidus specifically, but just Zerg. Well, I guess, yeah, Nidus play happens so often to Harstem in tournaments.
Oh my god, Harstem, you know, he got Mio Mica'd in DreamHack Valencia, and now he's getting chammed in HomeStory Cup. But yeah, GG, very well played there by Cham. Again, his Nidus was completely unscouted. Even though Harstem had 2 oracles, he was never able to really verify the drone count at the 3rd base, and that was as well as the gases either, and that was really kind of the big tell that Cham had cut workers and that he was going for an all-in. So Harstem was playing a little bit blind.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, the way he opened up and the way he played out that early make game wasn't the worst in the world. I mean, it's a relatively safe but also economic build that you're going for. Unfortunately, I think it really just came down to the fact that he didn't have enough static defenses, and he didn't have enough anti-Ling units. Had a couple of Adepts, but they were vanilla Adepts. He had a couple of Oracles, but they very quickly ran out of energy. If he got some Void Rays earlier, that would have made the whole difference.
Yeah, Void Rays, if the Panic Cannons and Shield Batteries were actually ready at the natural as well. If he knew that there was a Nidus coming, then he would have been able to spread out a couple of pylons in his main base so he could get vision of that and try and deny that as well. Like he was trying to react on the fly, but we saw how difficult it can be to pull that off. And yeah, wow. Congratulations to Cham to take the first game in that series, but we are now going to be getting ready for game number 2. Oh boy, and we're going to see if Harstem can tie it up or if Cham can just take it 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, Cham may have taken the first game, but will he take the last?
Oh. We will see. As a reminder to everyone, even though the in-game interface didn't say it because we can't set it up that way, but these are best of 2s, not best of 3s.
Yes. So a tie is a very real possibility, and Yeah, especially in the group stage, map score matters that much more.
Mhm.
I think, now that I think about it, I think I kind of like going about it this way because then you don't really have to worry about Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you kind of don't have to worry about series score that much because then it's just pure maps if you want to look at it that way. But
Mhm.
you know, at the same time, if you're somebody who 2-0'd your opponent, like say, I don't know, yeah, if you 2-0'd an opponent, I mean, you want that to count for something. But then again, it does count for something because you won 2 points instead of just 1. So,
And that's math, and that's math.
math.
And
Yeah.
Yaku, mate, do you want to count us in?
You just saw me do math. I mean, do you want me to?
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And we are back. Oh man, Cham very enthusiastic about this particular map. Our player in the bottom left, though, not as much here. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of data. Under the sea, we have our red Protoss player coming down from the Netherlands, the land of Rotterdam. He is, of course, going to be representing Shopify Rebellion. He is Imba. He is the capital, Harstem.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have his opponent, the Mexican Terran player representing Team GP. It is Cham.
And getting into this map, we have one of our players just smiling ear to ear, and the other one a little bit more stone-faced.
I was about to
I can't
say,
I blame either of them.
unless I missed it, Cham GLH F, or he didn't F, but Harstem didn't say anything,
Good
right?
luck,
Harstem did not respond, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe in the lobby, but you know, I can't say I blame him for wanting to focus a bit more on playing out this game after just being Nidus again, just having all of that trauma coming back into him, flooding back in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him because we are kind of casting this in order. So we already casted Harstem against Solar, and we casted him against Gumiho, and he's had a lot of 1-1s in the group stage so far. So he needs, even though it's really impressive that he has a good score against some of the stronger players in the group, like the score does matter at the end of the day to get out of the group, and to lose a game against Cham and maybe the series, like that could cost him quite a bit.
Yeah, 8 players come into each of our groups, and only 4 advance, if I have that math correct.
Oh, exactly.
So if you're right in the middle, just having that 1 extra map win can mean the difference of whether or not you're eliminated.
It really can. It really can. So Harstem has to be very careful about that, and hopefully we'll see this series go the distance. It can't even go the distance. It just goes 2 games.
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
We're already at the distance.
Smooge, puppy, smooge. So we'll see how this goes. So far, once again, Harstem playing this out quite standard, just like the previous game. He's not adjusting really. He's going for a Stargate first.
Yeah, there was nothing really wrong with his opening in game number 1. It was mostly just his scouting that was the issue. He can do the same thing once again. Double Oracle, follow that up with gateways into a Templar Archives, but he's gonna have to be a lot more vigilant, and he's gonna have to take a few more risks, I think, with his oracles, just to dive into mineral lines.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, if you remember last game, he had his oracles dipping in a little bit here and there, but he was very lax when it came to adept scouting. That's something that he wasn't really doing too much of. They were kind of chilling at his third base, and to be fair, you typically want them there for a time to make sure the third gets up and running, but once it does, then you want your adepts to be active on the map. So we'll see how Harstem can adjust, and I'm sure he's going to be a little bit more paranoid here in game 2.
And once again, can't say I blame him.
Oh god, exactly. As for the time being, you know, we have our second Oracle on the way. There's that third base from Harstem, so everything is looking normal from the side of Protoss. From the side of Zerg, likewise, we're droning. We can see that some Zerg players do skip their spores at their natural, just to try to defend with pure Queen, but Cham isn't one of those players. He isn't taking any chances here.
Yeah, he just wants to be as safe as can be. If you're Cham right now, you are probably anticipating that Harstem is going to be a lot more careful this time, so you yourself don't want to take too many chances. You yourself want to make sure you're not kind of caught off guard by any sort of harass.
Exactly. Speaking of, ooh, I love the whole position micro there of that probe, just making sure that the first adept doesn't get surrounded. So Harstem, he kind of deflects any kind of aggression at his third base. He's going to be able to get it up and running. Meanwhile, Cham is going straight into his Roach Warren.
Yep, definitely a little bit of a departure from our previous game, but if you were thinking that Cham was going to knight us 2 games in a row, well, he's Omeo Micah. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. They can be a little bit similar, but of course they have their own styles. And for the time being, you know, Harstem, he did tag the main base. He confirms additional gases being taken. He can see the timing of the lair as well. And I'm sure he would want to be checking the gases at the natural or even at the third, or he's even going to be able to delay that fourth.
Just super crucial right now for Cham. He is playing this out a lot more economic. I say that, but the lair just finished up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Galactic Constitution immediately.
Yeah, there we go. We do have Roach speed on the way. And again, this time Harstem with his oracles, he's getting a lot of economic damage done. 7 drones go down, and he also confirms the researching, the gases, the drone count. Like, he should feel pretty safe and pretty comfortable. And from here, he did this against Solar. He has been kind of taking a little bit of a departure from that hero style of blink or +1 blink stalkers. Instead, we have +1 charge lot Archon.
A very potent unit composition, especially against Ling Bane, but it definitely takes a while before they're effective against roaches, I think.
Yeah, exactly. In low numbers, roaches can kite the hell out of charge lot Archons, so Harstem has to be a little bit careful, and because that, I'm sure he's going to be a little bit more defensive. We already see Immortal production starting up back at home. We see a Robotics Bay as well. I love that Harstem, he is reacting to what he is seeing. He is getting ready for a Roach Ravager-based composition.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking this a lot from Harstem. This is kind of a window of opportunity right now for Cham. Once Galactic Constitution finishes up, he can just march his roaches across the map and, you know, try to get whatever damage he can get done. Like you said, roaches in low numbers can really kite even charge lots for days. But Harstem's making sure that just because Cham has a window, it's a bulletproof window.
Oh, and Cham, he's going all in. I don't know if you just saw, but Cham, he just main-arted drones from his third to his fourth to make it look like he's droning, when really he just pulled the boys. Like, he's not saturated at all at his third. He has droned up to 65, and 65 drones is all we are getting.
And let's see if that's going to be enough. Cham has a massive army supply lead over Harstem right now, even with the deception. Even with how deceptive roaches can be, this fourth base is looking very vulnerable, but can he break into the natural or the third?
That's the thing, right? Like,
it's still only halfway done.
Yeah, this fourth is going to go down. That's kind of a given, but Cham is all in. He needs more than just a fourth base. He is up 60 supply right now. The Nexus is going to be going down, and Cham has to rush his way over towards the natural and try to break Harstem before that disruptor, before the Nova gets too much damage.
Yeah, some nice force fields, but I really appreciate how careful Cham was being with his Biles. A nice little disruptor hit will take out 2 Ravagers and a couple of roaches as well, but with only 1 disruptor, he really needs more than just that, and the disruptor goes down. That was it. That was the only bit of splash damage that Harstem really had. Yeah,
the disruptor goes down. The Immortals and the Archons are being focused down as well. The Roach count is being thinned out. Cham is running out of steam slowly but surely. The Void Rays and the Oracles are cleaning this up.
And if we look at the units lost, Harstem may have lost 9 probes, but this is totally fine for him. Cham's trying to catch back up. He just droned, and he's trying to transition into more of a lurker composition. but there's Harstem's just gonna run away with this massive tech lead.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the defense, a lot of it did come down to that one disruptor and that one purification nova. Getting 2 to 3 ravagers was huge, and that could have been the difference between Cham breaking the third and not. So Harstem, he holds on. He lost a base, and his army was basically reset, so I don't think he's counterattacking anytime soon. So the game is gonna slow down a little bit from here as Cham is getting ready for his next push.
Yeah, 2 Ravagers doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, it's 3 Ravager Vials to kill a... Well, I know for a fact that it's 3 Ravager Vials to kill a tank, but I'm just trying to figure out what the Protoss equivalent to that is. Shield Battery, question mark?
Yeah, I mean, to take down the shield batteries, to maybe force micro, and maybe even take down the Void Ray if Harstem wasn't paying attention either. There's a lot of potential and possibilities there with that. Meanwhile, we do see Cham getting ready for his Roach Hydra push. Lurkers are already on the way. They're being morphed in a bit of an exposed position, but Cham is pushing on through, but he's hitting a brick wall of Protoss.
Disruptor comes in and takes out a nice chunk of the roaches as well. Lurkers are about to finish up here, but remember, these are vanilla lurkers.
They really are. No hive upgrades whatsoever. Cham, I feel the desperation, the pressure on him. He really wants to break his opponent, but another Nova goes off. Oh my god.
I was just about to say, with how spread out the lurkers are, there may be a chance here for Cham, as long as he doesn't lose too much of his buffer, but he just lost his buffer, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of roaches went down because of the revelation. These lurkers are exposed. They're going to be focused on as well. Another Nova goes off and does connect with the lurkers and the Hydras. And it looks like the reinforcements of Cham may just barely not be enough. We'll see. More roaches are coming in.
Yeah, well, the shield battery and the Nexus are both out of energy, but even just having one Archon live, and even just having this one Archon alive to soak up damage for these Disruptors makes such a difference right now. Cham, he's got a lot of production. He just finished a 5th base, so it's kind of weird. He's not exactly all in, but he's not exactly droning either.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to be fair. He's got 83 drones, so he's content with what he has, and it looks like even though he lost every single lurker, the parade pushing is not stopping, by the way. The 3rd base has been broken, and then Cham can focus on the army, he can focus on the natural.
I just realized he's parade pushing with slow Hydras. Really goes to show just how much production, Cham has.
Was that intentional? I have to wonder if that was...
Yeah, he got group spine first, yeah.
Yeah, was it intentional to forget speed until now, though? That's the question. I want to say it was, as we do see, a bit of a 360 surround here. Cham is coming on, and he wants to break the 3rd base. We have an overcharge, and Harstem is doing what he can to hold on, but he's losing just a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, having all these Disruptors are huge. I gotta say, I mean, I'm looking at Cham split, and just barely not move his Hydras out of range of the Purification Novas in time, but I couldn't help but wonder if that would be any different with speed. Regardless, GG, very well played from Cham here. 2 games where I think he really understood how to break Harstem. Very impressive.
GG, well played, very impressive indeed. That was a really cheeky build on Data Under the Sea from Cham. The way that he masked his build by pooling his drones and making it look like he was saturating his 4th base. We saw Harstem, as that happened, Harstem, he threw a revelation down at the 3rd base, and he saw the gas being mined, and he saw drones. But it looks like Harstem, he wasn't able to connect the dots and recognize that the 3rd was looking a little bit thin, a little bit undersaturated. Because of that, Harstem had a 4th on the way. He didn't have any additional shield batteries or cannons at his natural. He was focusing a lot more on his tech and his upgrades and his economy, not realizing that an all-in was coming. And to be fair, he survived the all-in, to be fair, but he also lost a lot in defending.
He really, really did. I think what happened there was Harstem saw the 3rd base, but I believe he also saw the 4th base finish up with Cham as well. So yeah, that's why, even though that 3rd base looked a little thinned out, he did have that little sense of security there. He thought, okay, Data C, We're gonna go into more of a little bit of a later game, maybe get to a split map scenario, but regardless, I have a little bit of time right now to expand. I can delay my disruptors for a little bit. Well, little do you know, that was what Cham had in the books.
Yeah, Cham 2 games in a row pulling off some very aggressive play, somehow being able to bypass the scouting of Harstem 2 games in a row as well. GG. Yeah, really impressive play by Cham. I wasn't expecting this. Honestly, I was expecting another 1-1.
As was I. As was I, just following the pattern.
Yeah. So, this is a pretty strong result here from Cham, and, oh boy, yeah, I mean, to be fair, Harstem has had a good day overall when it comes to this group, but it's also a bit of a, it's a bit of an endurance test. This was, quickly checking, this was round 5, so we're just over halfway through the night, and that's a lot of games, that's a lot of StarCraft.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot in a lot of games and a lot of StarCraft going on there. At the very least, I want to say that a slight consolation may be that, at least they're best of 2s. They're not full-on best of 3s, so you're not expending that much mental and physical energy, but, I mean, as the hours add up, that's going to have a toll on you.